Hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to episode 4 of our painting series on the Elden Ring board game. As always, first off, I want to give a big shout out to all the YouTube members who help support this channel. You guys are amazing. Can't thank you guys enough. Starting off for the next 4 episodes will be all 4 heroes. We're going to start with the Astrologer. Pretty easy. Colors are kind of mundane, but that's how it is in Elden Ring, especially when you're starting out, so no big deal. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow, hit the thumbs up, and hit the bell so you can alert whenever we get a new video. YouTube members also do get early access, so without further ado, let's go. Alright, we're going to start off by scraping off all those nasty mold lines. And then we are going to spray paint it in gray. Just some straight Mechanicus standard gray or whatever gray you have. That's it. We're going to start with a little bit of a Dyrad Bark. We're doing this on the shoulder pieces and the front of the miniature to include the chest, waist area, knees, and going all the way up to the neck on our Astrologer. Next, we're going to take some gray Seer. We're going to put this all over the robe. This is the front and the back, and then on the side pieces that kind of come down near the shoulder area as well. And you'll see here in a second. For the inside of the hood, we're going to use just one contrast paint for this entire thing. You don't need to use this. You can use straight up Mephiston red or whatever kind of red you have. But we're using Balil red for the inside of that hood. For the 2 arms, we're going to do some Abaddon Black. You can use whatever black you want. You can use Black Templar if you want to use contrast paints. But we're doing mostly just normal paints. So they're all normal paints except for one on this miniature. For the face and the hands, we're going to use our basic Cadian Fleshtone. And yeah, pretty simple. Nothing crazy about that. For the Astrologer staff, we're going to be using some Steel Legion Drab, so get all of that. For the little ruffles coming down on the bottom and below the sleeves on our Astrologer, we're going to use some Ionrach Skin. You can use Screaming Skull, you can use Ushabti Bone, just like kind of an eggshell off-white look. That's all we need. For our leather belt and leather pouches, we're going to be using some Mournfang Brown. Pretty simple right there. There's a couple pieces of metal on those as well, but paint over them, and then we'll go over them here in a minute with our metal color. For our boots, we're going to be doing a little bit of Gorthor Brown all over those, so just get those babies all painted up. For our shield, or a little buckler, I guess you could say, we're going to use some Runelord Brass on the front and on the back of that. And then there's a little medallion that's coming on the back side of our Astrologer that we're going to paint with that as well. We're also going to use this color on the two little spots on the front pouch, and then little, I don't know what that is, it's like a medallion that's hanging on the front. We're using that on there as well. And to finish off our base paints, we're going to use that necklace with a little bit of Retributor Armour. And that's all of our base paints right there. Alright, on to the washes. This is a very traditional paint, very simple paint. We're going to use some Reikland Fleshshade on all of our skin areas. We're also going to use this on the buckler. You can also use Agrax Earthshade, the buckler that we're going to use in the next step, but it is up to you. We're also using this specific shade on the gold necklace that is coming down as well. For all of the brown areas, all brown areas to include the staff, the satchel, belt, all brown areas, we're using some Agrax Earthshade. Pretty simple. You can use this on the buckler as well if you would like to give some more depth. I think it looks better with the Agrax, but it is up to you. For our cloak, we're going to use a 50-50 mix of Nulin Oil and Lahmian Medium. If you want to go a little bit darker, you can, but I think it's better if you keep it very transparent and translucent. Very little depth in this. Trust me on this. Trust me. I would err to do more Lahmian Medium than not enough. Alright, once your miniature is completely dry, let's start with some highlights, and we're going to use some Steel Legion Drab to paint up the staff again. Now we're focusing on a vast majority of it, but we're leaving those dark undertones dark. It gives it that contrast of a little bit of a brightness with the Steel Legion Drab, with the darkened Steel Legion Drab underneath. It looks fantastic. For our ruffles, we're just going to do the raised areas in the original tone of Ionrach Skin. Nothing crazy. If you wanted to do white, you could do white or Screaming Skull or Pale Butch Flesh. I just went with the same one because it's already on my wet palette. And, you know, I'm trying to save a little bit of time here because we've got more miniatures to paint. Now the areas that we painted in Dyrad Bark, we're going to put over some Doombull Brown on the raised areas. We're not going into the recesses. We're keeping some of that Dyrad Bark darkness on the bottom. And then we're just kind of going over the top. We're doing this for the chest, the waist, knee area, and the 2 shoulder areas as well. For our belt area, we're going to just do a reapplication of Mournfang Brown. We're not painting the entire thing. We're doing about 80% of it. We're leaving some of that dark, washed Mournfang Brown underneath. And it makes it look pretty nice. For the boots, we are going to go over a vast majority of it in Baneblade Brown. For the raised areas on the boots, the little strings that are wrapping around our Astrologer's ankles and stuff, we're just going to get those areas. We're going to leave those recesses dark, but we are going to get the toes and the sides of those boots and the backs as well. Well, our normal skin highlighting, we're going to do a reapplication of Cadian Fleshtone. Now we're really focusing on the bridge of the nose, the cheekbones above the lip, below the lip, and the chin as well. For our fingers, we're not getting anything in the recesses between the fingers. We're just solely focusing on the knuckles, fingers, and stuff like that. For our second highlight, we're just going to do a 50-50 mix of Kislev and Cadian. We're going over those same areas. We're just brightening them up a little bit, really focusing on the same areas we just did. The cheekbones, the chin, the lips, bridge of the nose itself, forehead if you can get to it. It's a very small surface area, and then the fingers, knuckles as well. And for your last highlight, these same areas, just with a little bit less paint of some Kislev Flesh. There we go, we got it. And we're really focusing on the knuckles and the areas surrounding those knuckles, the fingertips, and those areas that would give it some brightness. Basic Liberator Gold, just to re-highlight up that gold necklace. Nothing special here. And we're going to do a reapplication of that Runelord Brass. Now, I'm doing a full paintbrush or some paint on my brush in the middle, and then I'm somewhat doing a dry brush over the lettering on the buckler. Doing my best not to get it into the recesses, just to give it some depth. Alright, we're going to do a quick reapplication of Gray Seer. Now we are solely focusing on the raised areas. Now you'll notice that the recesses are darkened, and that's what we want to keep them that way. So we are really focusing on just the raised areas, going over them, not putting too much paint on our brush, and just putting a little bit of brightness back into it since we put a very translucent wash on it. Again, we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to make it too dark. We don't want to make it over stimulating with the dark recesses. It's a very light wash. Let's keep it that way with some white and some dirtiness to it, because that's how it looks in the game, to be honest. We're coming out of the wire here. Last 3 steps, we're just going to use some Aggaros Dunes on our dirt area. And then in the middle, there's some rocks that you're going to see here in this next frame. Now, I let these dry completely. I did a little bit of dry brushing on them as well, and then I put a little tuft on it. I glued a tuft down that I totally forgot to film because I wasn't paying attention, looking at something else. No big deal. But I did do that just to give it some more depth because it is a main character, and I want the main characters to have just a little bit more, so I did that. You don't need to do that, but yeah, you know what I mean. And then obviously your favorite paint of painting the miniature, because it means you're done, is the rim of the base. And of course I'm doing it in Abaddon Black because I can't do it in any other color for some reason. And that is it. You have successfully completed the Astrologer from Elden Ring, the board game. Not much to it. Traditional paint here. It looks pretty good. I think it turned out pretty well for the amount of time it took. It didn't take that long. Matches the card art, in my opinion, almost to a T. I didn't change anything up, so yeah, all right. We're doing pretty good. Again, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members. Thank you for all your donations. I want to say thank you to everybody who watches, to the subscribers, everybody who leaves a comment. I can't thank you guys enough. We've got some more Elden Ring coming up, and we also had a donation to do some more Chronicles of Drunagar, so we're going to squeeze that in. All right, until next time, I love you all. If you have any questions, drop me a comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Paint on.